This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing.
Well, hello and welcome to the latest edition of the Throstle Club. Now with a slightly different format today, as this is our World Cup review. Now, Billy's twiddling his knobs as always in front of us. See you there, Billy?
I am.
Yep.
Yes, I am.
Excellent, eh? But with no Bob today, he's on an extended hydration break, I think.
Oh, right.
So he'll be back in time for the next programme. That's unless he's taken up his job offer. That is a new PR job for Infantino.
Oh.
So it needs to be discussed, I think. Now, whether he will take that job or not, I don't know. But today what we're just going to do is spend the programme on a look back at the World Cup and some of the pre-tournament games and the games in the first round that I went to, and talk to some of the people that I met in America.
Oh, fantastic.
There's quite a few folks that we did on our sightseeing tours around as well. So this programme is made up of my reports on the games and interviews with some of those fans from across the West Midlands that we met on the way, really. So let's begin in the beginning, really, in Florida.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Flags from the supporters of West Bromwich Albion and Wolves were very much in evidence as travelling fans from the West Midlands met the US-based Wolves supporters in the 25,800 crowd that braved the baking heat of Tampa to see England beat New Zealand 1-0 in a World Cup warm-up match. Harry Kane's goal in the first half stoppage time was good enough to separate the two teams. Now, England fielded the side in the first half, which included Owen-born Morgan Rogers, but he and all the other players, for that matter, were substituted at half-time as Thomas Tuchel tinkled with his team and gave opportunities to as many players as possible to show what they could do in a match played in extreme conditions. Aston Villa's Ollie Watkins had a good chance in the second half as England toiled in the 32-degree heat. Now, Chris Wood, who played for Albion in the early 2010s, was a key player for New Zealand. Now, pleasing as it was to see all 22 players cope well in the heat-sapping conditions, Tuchel now knows he's only got one game left, that against Costa Rica, to decide his best 11 for the first game that really counts against Croatia in Dallas. In the meantime, we all hope that England will continue to shine in the Sunshine State. England 3, Costa Rica 0. Now, early in the day, it became clear that a storm was brewing, but we weren't about to play Costa after all, so that's what we expected. Now, the deluge that followed resulted in the game being delayed for an hour as the pitch and the surrounding streets were underwater. And astonishingly, with minutes to go before the new kick-off time, on the pitch they put the sprinklers on. Now, England were always the dominant side, and on 9 minutes Gordon ran on for Rice to shoot England into the lead. Eureka! England led 1-0. Now, midway through the half, a brilliant glancing header from Stourbridge-born former Birmingham City man Jude Bellingham was well saved at the expense of a corner, which was cleared. As the dark clouds cleared, the pounding sun returned, and the mid-play drinks break was appreciated by the players. England had at least 80% of the possession, and on 36 minutes, as Costa Rica pushed forward, England won possession and a shot hit the post, and it was cleared with every 10-year-old kid screaming at their TVs, "I could have scored that." Now, Costa failed to wake up and smell the coffee, and it seemed it was only a matter of time before England got number 2. And it ought to have come from an injury time penalty, but VAR had other ideas. Costa was shaken, but not stirred. Although the pitch was no longer underwater, England brought on a number of subs, which took the stadium announcer a couple of minutes to read. A Gordon penalty went straight into the corner to make it 2-0, and as the attendance was announced at just over 29,500, Sub Morgan was put through but shot wide. Rashford went close, and then later in the game, England took charge, and a great dribble set up Ollie Watkins, who powered home a header from close range to make it 3-0. A successful end to the warm-up series. England seemed to have found the right blend, which didn't leave a bitter taste in the mouth.
So just a couple of minutes after the game now, so everybody's a bit excited after our brilliant victory today, with some Albion fans as well. So Nathan, what do you reckon of the game?
It was better the other day, put it that way straight away. It was played at a much higher tempo. Weather conditions were probably a bit better. The pitch, I noticed, was moved in a little bit towards the edge of the pitch.
That's very observant. Nobody else noticed that, yeah?
It was moved in a couple of metres because the pitch was a bit in the corners.
Not so good. Because before the game, Nathan, we had a absolutely horrendous storm. The whole pitch was going to game was delayed.
It's mental, yeah. We were stuck in that. What was that bar? That taco bar, wasn't it, for about an hour?
We were forced to go into a pub for an hour earlier than we were going to. It was we
were trying to get to the other pub to meet everyone else, but we couldn't.
We had to put up with it. We had to go into this different pubs, didn't we? So we've been doing loads of different things while we have been here, haven't we? So what have you been up to now?
Been theme parks. Been just basically.
You've been to Universal
hibernating
Studios.
From the heat as well.
Yeah. So the heat gets to you, but you've been to Universal, haven't you?
I've done Busch Gardens. Busch Gardens was brilliant. Like it was nice
tell
scenery.
Tell people what that's all about then.
Like mad roller coasters, mad man. There's one that like lasted about 20 seconds. It's based on a tiger, man, and like just throws you about. Universal was ace. Went on the new ride, Jurassic Park coaster. It was very fast, it was very frantic. The only part was we went upside down, we're near enough touching the water. It may as well put us in there.
It's like being on the 74 bus through Dudley then, isn't it? What about you, Nate? Where have you been?
We've been down the Keys, Florida Keys, and then up to Tampa, then across to St. Petersburg, then across to through Lettuce Lake Park, and then through to Orlando now.
Orlando, yeah. The locals have been really friendly.
Yeah, brilliant, really friendly. Ace.
More friendly,
more friendly than me. Yeah.
Always friendly with you. Here we've got
Francesca.
Yeah, so Francesca, you're a big Albion fan anyway, aren't you?
Yeah.
But you've almost been bitten by alligators, haven't you?
Yes, so...
Not that we're going to exaggerate this story or something, but it's something we can get our teeth into, isn't it?
We went to, so we're staying in an apartment, and on the back of there's a lake, so we went kayaking. And my husband didn't tell me deliberately that there was alligators potentially in the lake, which was confirmed by several others after that. It's probably, very highly likely that they were in there.
So you're pleased you found out afterwards?
Yeah, definitely. It was good fun, but I'm not going back in there now.
Now we've got
He's still very happy with
we've got an outsider, as it were, because we've got a Millwall fan. Is that allowed? But this is the Millwall fan with a difference, because you live over here, don't you?
Yeah, I've lived in the US for about 10 years now, Florida for about 4 years, but they say Americans are friendly and welcoming, but I couldn't have met a more welcoming group of people. And as a southerner, as a southern fairy, to be with the Northerners, they've made me feel very
Northerners?
welcome.
How dare you call us Northerners?
Well,
Northern? Is he allowed to get away with that? Saying Northern?
I think we need to cut it a bit.
Yeah.
But you guys have all been incredibly welcoming and friendly, and I really appreciate you guys, and I'm happy to share a little bit of the US with you guys, and I wish West Brom and Middlesbrough and all the other Northern teams to me all the best for next year.
Okay, that's enough.
I'm
that's
saying
enough.
Northern. I'm leaving now.
That's enough for you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Unbelievable, isn't it? Northern teams. Anyway, so it was all good fun anyway. But then, of course, the tournament got underway, and we got our cowboy hats on. Well, some of them did. Anyway, we moved up to Dallas.
Oh, Dallas.
Pre-match, the crowds gasped at the superb-looking stadium, which was to host a 70,000 capacity crowd for a football match, although it can hold 94,000 when it's used for other sports such as American football and their rounders. Now, England proved they weren't a bunch of Dallas Cowboys when Harry Kane gave England the lead, albeit with a retaken penalty. The noise almost raised the roof. Yes, there was a roof, and in the air-conditioned stadium, everyone felt quite comfortable, and no doubt the players did too. However, midway through the half, everything stopped for a completely unnecessary hydration break. Surely you don't need a hydration break in an air-conditioned, closed-roof stadium. Now, as the players had a swig of water, FIFA and certain US TV companies had not a swig, but a swag bag of money made from TV adverts. Now, England restarted with a swagger themselves, but it was Croatia who scored next to make it 1-1 after 35 minutes. England went 2-1 up when Kane headed home from a Declan Rice corner after 42 minutes, but then amazingly it was 2-2 when Croatia levelled in first half injury time. Well, no one ever said it was going to be easy. Jude Bellingham became the first European player to compete in a number of internationals, 4 major international tournaments in fact. It was fitting that this Stowridge-born youngster put England back in front just after the restart with a stunning goal. Now, England controlled much of the half, showing genuine attacking intent and seemingly relishing playing in an attacking style as much as we did watching it. The rhythm of the game was again disrupted by another hydration break. World Cup football now, of course, consists of 4 quarters. And fittingly then, it was England who got a 4th when substitute Marcus Rashford smashed the ball home to make it England 4, Croatia 2, leaving the Sun newspaper to headline the story, Texas Kane Score Massacre. We've just got back from the big game, England 4. Simon, what do you reckon? England 4, Croatia 2. What do you reckon to the game?
Well, I was disappointed, to be fair. I thought in the first half, really, the quality all came from Croatia, and England was quite one-dimensional. Just attack on the wing, and in midfield, it was very poor. Second half,
But
big change.
we won 4-2, you can't...
No, very true, very true. At the end of the day, if you win a game of football 4-2, then you've won the game, and 3 points. We're top of the group, so happy days.
And what about the heat of where we are?
It now is horrendous, yeah. To be fair, obviously the stadium was pretty good, but outside in Dallas.
Outside it was tremendously hot again, went up into the 90s. But
it was, yeah.
It's very rare for us to play with a stadium with a roof on, isn't it? Air conditioning.
Exactly, yeah. It was unique. It was a special occasion, to be fair, and ultimately at the end of the game, the supporters were completely joyous, and it was good to. It was good to be a part of in a small way as a supporter.
Yeah, so
Not as good as being at the Hawthorns, but
nothing could be better than being at the Hawthorns, could it? Darlie, you were there as well. What do you reckon? Was it a good day out?
Yes, it was a good day out and it's epic. I did enjoy the game though.
You enjoyed the game.
did,
What
yeah.
about the heat? How are you coping with the heat?
And it's fine, but the people in front of us, they're so loud, and we just join. How they react with the games as well, and everyone's enjoying.
And what about the travelling, getting to the games and stuff?
It's fine. It's there's lots of stuff to guide you anyway. So take a train, take that bus, coach, whatever. Spot on.
It was all well organised, wasn't it?
Well organized, yeah.
Yeah. What about you then, Simon? And in terms of your travelling here, what are your experiences?
It was fine. Having been to Qatar, it's quite interesting to see, different kind of culture. Ultimately doing the same experience of organising a World Cup, and to be fair, Qatar was good, and what we've just witnessed in Dallas, it was pretty similar, well organised. The staff, the local staff were friendly, so it's all good really. All excellent.
And we were right back in the town centre in Dallas, in downtown Dallas. There's a big screen. There's lots of people sitting outside here. There's music playing. It's a fantastic atmosphere. It
is. Yeah, to be fair, I mean, even ultimately the Croatian fans and the English fans, we were at sort of enemies to down the football field, but really
I haven't seen any issues whatsoever. Just friendly people enjoying, the ultimately the World Cup together. And yeah, it's been spot on. Very good.
It's been good trying to explain football to the Americans as
Oh
well.
yeah,
Isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I got to watch my P's and Q's, but yeah, some of the things that you hear the locals talking about soccer is like bizarre. And in fact, on the big screen, I can't quite remember the terminology, but in the stadium on the big screen, which was epic, that's some terminology that people around me were saying, same as myself. What does that mean? I couldn't understand the soccer terminology they got, but anyway, we was watching football, not soccer.
And the good news is England won 4-2, and we're on our way.
We're on our way. We're on our way.
1, 2, 3, 4.
One of the things, of course, when you're in Dallas is that everybody has to go and see the JFK site where Kennedy was shot, and a famous person being shot, and it becomes a tourist attraction. But it's quite strange, really, isn't it? But it's something that everybody feels compelled, really, to go and see, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think obviously it's an iconic thing, an iconic place. Obviously, ultimately, from what I know about JFK, he was an honourable guy and an icon of the US political system. And for him to be assassinated was obviously an awful day in the history of the US. However many years later, to go to the same road junction, which from what I can see when I've seen pictures on the TV, on documentaries on this subject, when you see it there in the flesh, it's not changed. And the building where the shooter was, in the top corner in one of the windows, they highlight that so you can see that position.
It's quite remarkable because there's an X in the road, isn't there?
That's right. Yeah. There's actually 2 X's, and I think that relates to potentially 2 different shots. But yeah, it's sort of good to go and see. And I think most people that I could see, they generally were respectful. And there's it's a moment in history that has been talked about for decades ever since. But interesting to see as an England fan coming to Dallas, and yeah.
We've moved on a bit now with our excursions, and we're going across the country, and we've stopped off in Memphis, Elvis Presley territory, of course. And would you believe, first people bump into Alan and Annette, and you're a Wolves fan?
I'm a Wolves fan, yes. Born in Darlington, always been a Wolves supporter.
I'll let you off then, because you're born in Darlington. So what brings you over here then, obviously for the football, but your wife sounds a little bit American.
Yes, I'm from Kansas City.
Right, so you met over here then, did you?
We met in Florida. Yep.
On the dance floor?
On the dance floor.
No dating happened, nothing like that on the dance floor.
Oh, right.
And then where we met and dated, I said, you need to come to England to see what we're about.
Oh, right.
So big Beatles fans, and I am a big Beatles, so we did all the Liverpool stuff. And then Annie came a bit later with a friend to Birmingham to see Elton John. I couldn't come while I was being married, waiting for a green card. Yeah. And then the rest is history, like, you know.
So how long have you been living over here then?
Oh, I've been in there. It's been 4 years now. 4 years. We've been back a couple of times, yeah. But, yeah. And I came here specifically because obviously watching England, we did a road tour. I always said I'd bring my dad to Memphis. And we was close at one point. We never came. We said we'll do it another time. We passed away.
It's unfortunate, yeah.
So I posted all there. Mum's still alive.
What about your dad then? Where was he from?
He's from Darlington. We're all from Darlington. My mum's moved now into Calvin, by Brood. Darlington's, and all my friends are still there. Yeah. We keep in touch, and obviously big Wolves fan on the Wolves sites. It'd be surprised the amount of people you bump into on this with England from the Black Country. Absolutely unreal.
Yeah, well, as an Albion fan, I realise there's a few Wolves fans around.
Albion. We've met them. I'll tell you, it's great to see the Black Country lads there. They're like, you know what I mean? It's just unreal. More so than the big guns, as you say, like the Arsenal. I haven't seen none of them
Yeah.
It's just all been you down to earth football fans.
And Alan's still a season ticket
And I'm still
holder.
a season ticket holder.
Oh, are you? So do you get back occasionally then?
Well, what I do is, I shouldn't say this on the radio, the walls are like it, but that's the ticket on, like, you know what I mean? But I was selling them back to the ground, so, and they sold them on, but obviously with them doing so bad this year, I just, people just used them that were back there.
I wasn't going to mention the fact that the Wolves were bad this season, but you've mentioned it.
We got one of our stars coming back though, Jimenez. But it's been great, and I mean the atmosphere, like we were saying in Dallas, especially Texas, like we was talking to local people, and they've never seen nothing like it. In there with the singing, and I don't know if you went into Texas live by the stadium, it was unreal. I was watching the news. And obviously the news presenter goes to all the Cowboys matches, and she couldn't believe it round there. She said she wished she knew all the songs to sing and chant, but they're just not used to it. And seeing the stadium with grass and tinted windows, or tinted, rather than...
So it's fantastic for you to have the World Cup on your doorstep.
Oh yeah, if England gets to 32 out of 32, then Atlanta's a short drive by American standards, 6 hours. You know what I mean? 6-7 hours. But yeah, it's been fantastic.
So what about you, Anita? Then do you understand all this? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah. Do you understand all this soccer?
I'm just learning it. Actually, when we first started dating, I decided to watch Ted Lasso. And then I found out that the big connection between Kansas City and Ted Lasso, because Jason Sudeikis is from Kansas City, and he has a lot of things in Ted Lasso that are related to Kansas City. So it was kind of fun. And then England's home base is in Kansas City, in my hometown. Yeah.
In your hometown, yeah. But then your mom lives just down the corner, did you say? From where the
my aunt.
Your aunt.
Yeah, my aunt. Yeah. She
brilliant.
lives just right next door. She can see the hotel from her apartment.
What about where we are now? We're standing by the Memorial Garden to Elvis Presley in Graceland.
Isn't it amazing?
It's an amazing place, and to see it, I mean, like we know the Beatles as being big, but before that, Elvis was two of the biggest, aren't they? Like the Beat, it was. And see this place, it's unreal, really, to be here.
Yeah,
to think they was walking. To think they was always in these grounds where we walking now. And to say, I mean, I was born in '56 anyway. So but to see some of the younger people who probably would not have knew Elvis still around. You know what I mean? So it's like they say, the legacy lives on, doesn't it? Never fades, does it? It's like the Beatles. In hundreds and hundreds of years, I'll still be talking about them.
We're just in a taxi now, and we're in Providence ahead of the game in Boston, and a taxi driver's with us, and he's got some brilliant thoughts about football in the States. So what's your name, mate?
My name is Mike.
Mike. So tell us, so an average person from America. What are the average person in America thinking of the football?
I think the average person in America, soccer/football is not a big sport in America. It's been evolving. I'm 55. When I was a kid, it was not popular. And only in the last, 15, 20 years has it started to take a hold. Not in the same way, obviously, it does back in the UK where you're from, in South America and the rest of the world. But it's becoming more popular. And I think the Americans have been really excited. We've been excited to host the World Cup. We're excited to have all of the travelers who come in with such passion for their country and their sport, like you from the Birmingham area. We had in Providence, we had 10,000 Scotsmen in here last week for that game. So we've been enjoying your passion, which I think increases America's passion for the sport. As I told you during the ride to your hotel, I was, up until 4 years ago, I was the classic American who was not a fan of soccer. I appreciated the athleticism. I appreciated the passion that people had for it, but it was just something that didn't resonate with me. And then I unexpectedly ended up at the World Cup in Qatar and got to see 3 matches in the group of 16, including England beating Senegal. And I got to see Argentina play live, and there were two moments in that match that changed me. One was when Messi scored, and that entire stadium went absolutely berserk. And then the second moment was after the final whistle blew. All of Argentina's players lined up and saluted the fans, and that stadium was rocking. I realized in that moment, it was kind of an out-of-body experience where I realized I've been to a lot of sporting events in my lifetime, but that was the most electrifying live sporting experience that I had ever experienced. And I became a fan in that moment. After the group of 16, I came back to the U.S. and thought, okay, now what do I do? And I guess I need to follow the Premier League. And I bought the streaming package here and started watching all the teams. And I fell in love with Little Brighton and Hove Albion, the Gulls. And I like them because they're not Man City or Liverpool or Man U with the giant payroll and all the superstar players. I like their spunk. I like their spirit. I like that there's a small market, small payroll. And I like their style of play. My favorite player is Matoma. I also love Dunk. Van Hecke is also a great player. He's playing in Netherlands right now. But ever since that World Cup in Qatar, I have fallen in love with it. And 2 years ago, a UK-based client asked me to come to London for the month of December. And her first words were, I apologize for sending you here during December because the weather's terrible. But what she didn't see was my face smiling ear to ear on my end of the phone because it was Premier League season. And I got to see 3 matches. I got to go. I saw Chelsea play Sheffield at Chelsea. I saw my team Brighton play Crystal Palace at Crystal Palace, and then I took a train down to Brighton and saw Brighton beat Tottenham.
Well, you got the word Albion correct anyway, but the wrong Albion should be West Bromwich Albion.
Well, tonight in this car, I'll agree with you. I'll agree with you since that's your team. And I also got to see some teams in the Championship and the next level down, and I also got to see Millwall play. I got to see Charlton play at the Valley, and then I also went and saw a team down in the National Division. And what blew me away was the passion, whether it was at the Amex or whether it was at Crystal Palace or Stamford Bridge, the passion all the way down to the team in the National Division, 5 levels down, I think it's 5, was just as strong, and they only had one stand that actually had seats. The rest of everybody else was standing, and the passion was incredible. And it made me love your sport. I say your sport, it's a global sport, but it's not yet a sport that we feel is it's slowly becoming a sport in our general our lexicon here. But it's a sport that I have fallen in love with, and I love following the players, I love following the teams, I love the passion. And don't get me wrong, I'll still watch my New England Patriots play NFL on Sundays, and the Boston Red Sox play baseball, but soccer/football has become a really important part of my sporting life, and I love rooting for a team. And I went from someone who thought that soccer was blah to one of the most exciting things that I've ever experienced. So I hope I'll be rooting for you guys tomorrow against Ghana, and it was a pleasure meeting you guys.
Brilliant. It's really nice to meet you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now we've moved on a bit, and you may be able to hear the roar in the background, and that's the sound of the water cascading over Niagara Falls as we cross the bridge between America and Canada to get a glimpse of Niagara Falls from the Canadian side, and a little boat trip from the American side, which should be really interesting.
You should be getting Michael Palin's job here, isn't it?
At least you didn't say Judith Chalmers.
Judith Chalmers, yeah.
Michael Palin's job would be quite good, wouldn't it? Anyway, but yeah, we did have some fun, and I'm sure he does as well. Anyway, it was great. Anyway, but after all that touring around, I suppose we had to get back to
football. Yeah,
good. And,
would help.
We went to Boston Tea Party. Yeah, to see what was brewing down there, and then we went to New York, New Jersey. It was the New York State in New Jersey, so they couldn't think of a name, so they called it the New York, New Jersey Stadium. It's not like saying New York; they've named it
Yeah.
So good they named it twice,
Twice.
is it? Yeah. But anyway, we went there.
They couldn't find the way, so they told them somewhere else.
Anyway, we went there for our games against Ghana and Panama.
England 0, Ghana 0. Now remember to start your day sunny side up, stated the sign in our breakfast location, referring to the way that the Americans like their eggs cooked. Well, outside the clouds were grey, with showers threatening throughout the day. A gloomy prospect indeed. As it happens, the rain stayed away, apart from the occasional minute or two of drizzle, and the lack of rain proved to be the highlight of the day. There was a big turnout of baggies, all of whom expected to see England scored a few goals. When will we learn? Now, England laboured against Ghana, the 64th ranked team in the world. True, they were well organised and defensively minded, but a team of England's quality ought to have been able to break them down. Jordan Pickford didn't have a serious save to make, but England took nearly an hour to get a shot on target. O'Reilly came close when headed against the woodwork, then Kane skied over when it should have at least been on target. As we travelled back into town, the clouds disappeared, giving way to a yolky yellowy sky. It turned out to be a sunny side up end to the day, as it had been in the morning. Just a shame about the bit in the middle. So it's finished Panama 0, England 2. Now in the end it was a great victory for England, but the team struggled to break down Panama, who were ranked 42nd in the world and were already out of the tournament. It was painful at times, more root canal than Panama Canal. For the excitement, the highlight of the opening hour was the appearance of David Beckham on the big screens. Now the Panamanian Canal lock gates opened, and they were opened by a man from Canal Country, Jude Bellingham, who put England ahead on the hour. And from then on, England were a cut above Panama, and when Kane headed home to make it 2-0, it was game over. In doing so, he became England's record World Cup scorer. It was the England captain's 11th World Cup goal, taking him one ahead of Gary Lineker. Now, Jordan Henderson came on as substitute to become the first player to represent his country at 4 World Cups. Now, for the 80,600-odd crowd, it wasn't the greatest of games, but it was a great experience for everyone to be there.
Your final score from New York, New Jersey, England 2, Panama 0.
Panama 0. What's 0?
It's
2-0 anyway.
We 2-0. We have to get used to it. At least it wasn't a draw, because they hate the draws, the Americans.
do they?
They kept on saying, we don't understand the concept why you need to draw. Somebody's got to win. Somebody's got to win. Oh, dear. Anyway, so the US announcers was something we got used to, really. Now, the next game, I watched that on a big screen in Washington. That's when England beat Congo in Atlanta. And then we went on to, that was the highlight for me, going to Mexico.
Yeah.
And it was about 2,900 quid to buy a ticket for that, though. So
really?
I'll give that one a miss, I think. So we watched it on a big pub screen. There's many other hundreds of England fans down there as well. And this is what we made of it, watching it on the screen.
Mexico! 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 Mexico!
Altitude versus attitude. It was Mexico 2, England 3. And back at the Irish pub, there were no Irish to be heard. It was often the case in Irish pubs overseas. It was mainly rammed with good-natured England fans and a good few fair Mexicans as well. Now, a collective groan greeted the news that the game had been delayed by an hour due to the latest storm. In a small side section, 50 or so folk gathered around one of the pub's 6 or 7 television screens. A raucous rendition of the national anthem rang out. Now, all talk of playing at high altitude was forgotten, and from now on, gasps in the pub were signs of England's attitude. Now, as England took the game to the Mexicans, the Corona and the Negra flowed as smoothly as England's passing. England fans devoured chicken wings as fast as the England players ran down the Mexican wings, and with added rice, England were on a roll. We hoped that goey and guacamole, sacco and salsa would serve up again to relish.
Now, a heart-stopping moment came in the 15th minute when Pickford brilliantly dived low to his left to stop a certain goal. "It's his Banksy moment," screamed a man sitting near me. Nods from those who heard him. The boos flowed and the boos rang out as the time arrived for this also necessary hydration break. Now, on 25 minutes, Gordon took a golden shot and the pub's customers rose at one and landed us one. Tables swayed in this earthquake-prone city. More seismic events were anticipated. One such tremor occurred after 35 minutes. "We're sitting too deep," said a middle-aged gent, and seconds later it was 1-0. Plastic glasses went flying, and I caught my glasses too as a limb from someone seats away came flying in my direction. England fans were making a spectacle of themselves in the best possible way as they hugged each other, and Mexicans too. On the pitch, England were expressing themselves in the best possible way too, as almost before most of us had landed back on earth, Bellingham made it 2-0. This time when the Mexicans joined in, it seems sporting enthusiasm is infectious, in this part of the world at least. And just as I was thinking it would be great to take a 2-0 lead into the break, it was 2-1. Roll's attempt was turned over by a diving Pickford in injury time. Not another Banksy moment. There was a magnificent Bellingham tackle 4 yards out which saved England. What was he doing there? So many questions with so little time to answer them. As the half-time whistle blew, fans spilled on the pavement. A huge cloud of cigarette smoke formed above them. The fans were on cloud 9. How must the players have been feeling after containing the Mexicans? In the dark night, lights and mobile phones illuminated happy, smiling faces. As the second half was anticipated, in one corner a group were huddled around a bottle which is being emptied into small glasses, suggesting the fans were having as many shots as England. Now, disappointed Mexicans picked at the remains of what was a carefully crafted mountain of nachos. And meanwhile, England fans licked their lips with relish as we waited for that second half. Now, England continued to serve up a dish to delight, and on 48 minutes, as England hit the post, a long-haired, loud-mouthed but jovial Geordie also had a near miss. No replay was necessary to confirm this, as there was clear evidence that he'd missed his mouth by millimetres as lager poured down the front of his shirt. The three Lions seemed to jump off the crest as they got an unexpected soaking. England roared on, and the chances came and went for both sides. Fans were out of their seats like yo-yos, arms flailing as if being controlled by men above them pulling on strings. It was like watching Thunderbirds. Lady Penelope would have said it was FAB. All limbs, as the kids apparently say today. Now, one fan leapt like a salmon and fell like a tin of salmon as he nearly strangled himself as he got caught in his large flag that was tied round his neck, and he fell back to his chair. Laughter at this turned to outrage on 53 minutes when Kwanzaa received a red card for a tackle on someone called Jesus. It's a cross he'll have to bear. Now, England's backs were now to the wall as the mainly supportive fans urged them to stick and carry the game to the Mexicans. Outside, bursts from badly blown vuvuzelas were heard. Maybe England had blown their chances too. But minutes later, Anthony Gordon charged through and was brought down by the keeper. The angelic-looking Van Gaal looked surprised. England players and pub-based fans were united in a shout of penalty. Strong Mexican counter-appeals were waved away. It took time, gasps in the pub, and then a huge yes! "They ain't scored it yet," said a bluff-sounding man. It was mostly not heard, or ignored indeed, as Kane smashed home his penalty kick to make it Mexico 1, England 3. The quiet man nodded, as if that's what he expected him to do, and then he disappeared. The Mexicans looked dejected. A stream of tears fell from a young Mexican girl's eyes, tears running into her mascara,
forming a trickle of black slurry that wouldn't go amiss at an Alice Cooper concert. Tears of joy from England fans and tears of a clown were wiped away as one started a chorus of "You can stick your tacos up your," which was left unfinished, as mirth turned to boos as the obligatory picture of Infantino appeared on screen. Now there was a moment of deathly silence as VAR was called for a possible handball against Kane. A penalty was given, a yellow card to Kane. The general consensus of opinion was it was never a penalty, although the tone of the overexcited Mexican TV commentator suggested he disagreed with the equally unbiased English fans. The pub held its breath, even if the commentator didn't. Jimenez scored, no doubt causing some irritation to any watching Wolves fans, as he's never so clinical at Molineux. Now the Spanish speakers, who know their onions when it comes to football, celebrated, leaving tears in their eyes. One Mexican leapt up, gleaming onto a cross on the end of his long necklace. It flew into the air, hitting his face, causing real tears in his eyes. But he didn't care, it was 3-2. A chorus of "Mexico" rang out. England responded with "Come on, England, come on, England," drowning out the high-pitched Mexican girls. The popular Mexico ditty, sung with as many words as tequila, came to the fore again as the good-natured banter continued. Meanwhile, in the 79th minute, the quiet man reappeared. "I've been for a wee, and there was a great big queue," he muttered, as if it mattered, although I suppose to him it did. Now, as England propped up their defence, those propped up at the bar behind us hammered home the message of "Come on, England!" The screen flickered and went blank. A collective "No!" did the trick, and seconds later the picture was back on, and all was well again. But the announcement of 11 minutes of added time was met with disbelief and agonised looks, especially from the man up north, who clearly needed another wee. Now, as Pickford puffed out his cheeks one last time in the rarefied high atmosphere, so did the fans here, similarly gasping as they gulped down their Corona. At the final whistle, it was a triumph of attitude over altitude that had won it both on the pitch and in the pub. An amazing chorus of "Football's coming home" with Thomas Tuchel rang out as Spanish TV immediately cut to adverts. The post-match atmosphere in the city was sensational, and what a privilege it was to be here. The Mexicans are amazing. 25 minutes away from the official fan zone by my hotel, and people were going berserk with spray foam and fireworks. Mexico fans clapped the English. One said, "We're proud to play the inventors of football." Others just offered congratulations. There was no animosity at all. Noise just as loud as pre-match. They seemed happy to have played us. In an Uber, the taxi driver just asked for a photo of me to show his family that he had an English fan as a passenger. What a day it had been. Who knows what it would be like if Mexico had won, which of course they didn't. Mexico 2, England 3. Now, John, you're an Albion fan, and you were there in the stadium in Mexico. Just it's almost impossible to describe, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I have to tell you the backstory. 1970 World Cup final, Brazil against Italy in that stadium. I watched it with my mum, and when I was watching it, I was thinking, I want to go there one day. So when it worked out, when the group, we go to the Azteca, it was my dream. And I have to say, I'm never, ever going to forget that whole day as long as I live. From dawn till dusk, it was just the most incredible experience. Everything. The stadium, getting there, the noise, the fans, the stellar game that we watched, the result, which was just out of this world, and then the after party that the Mexicans created afterwards was very humbling. High fives, hugs, selfies, kisses off the policewomen. It was just, I can't tell you.
Was that everybody gets a kiss off a policewoman, is it?
Certainly not. But that day, anything went. I was on cloud 9. And I joined my exec meeting at 1 a.m, 8 o'clock local time in England. and I started in my shirt with the Jude Bellingham celebration with my arms out wide, and I had all my colleagues laughing their heads off. Nothing was going to take that day away from me.
There you go! There you go! There you go! There you go!
So you can be on
Well-
the radio in England as well, but not in
Just so walking along the seafront late at night in Miami, and I see a green and white striped shirt, and it could only be a Baggies shirt, and lo and behold, it is. And I bumped into an Albion fan from Brazil called
Rodrigo from Brazil with a green and yellow Albion shirt because of Matheus Pereira.
So why is he so important to you?
Now he plays in Brazil in Cruzeiro, and he's very good. He's dominating the Brazilian league, and I like this shirt since when he played in West Bromwich.
Had you heard of West Bromwich before?
Of course,
Yeah.
but because of video games, FIFA and stuff. I do career mode with West Bromwich.
Excellent, brilliant.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you.
Thank you. Well, we thought it was coming home at that stage, didn't we?
Yeah.
So we've got really high hopes by that stage, haven't we? That
Oh,
we
blimey,
were going to
yeah.
do well. But that was it as far as we were concerned over there in America, and we were homeward bound after that. But the Norway game, we watched it on the beach in Miami.
Oh, right.
As you do. So it
As
was
you do.
Either coming home and sitting on my settee at home or watching it on the beach in Miami. So, you know.
Well, no, it's
contest,
no-brainer.
really.
No-brainer.
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 So, and this is what we made of it. Norway 1, England 2. You're rowing home. Now, around 500 or more fans watched this game on a huge screen on the grassy coastal strip with the Art Deco buildings on one side and the shoreline on the other. Now, the commentary came via an American commentator, and here's how he saw the game unfold. Right at the start, England had a key block when they were almost caught out in transition, but the left side was a side of strength for England. The humidity was sucking the life out of the ball game, and England needed possession of the ball in forward positions. The referee took us to a match break at 0-0. As the game restarted, Norway were not stopping back when under pressure at the top of the box and were on frame. On 27 minutes, there was a free kick to England, and a conference of 4 players went to take it. Kane struck it over as he chased down the goal scoring leaderboard. Norway were struggling to get the ball in their attacking mode, and on 31 minutes, Gordon went down for a free kick ball that bounced away. Haaland had a header saved, and this was quickly followed by a score when a shot went in off the far post, which may have been meant as a cross. Kane went down in the build-up as they scored. The build-up was in the springboard for momentum. The defending from Stones was elite as he stopped a goal in his 3rd World Cup. In added time, Bellingham blasted it low and hard to the far corner, and a 3-man move and a 1-man finish made it 1-1. A world-class striker doesn't back down in the brightest lights, and Kane had a score ruled out 4 minutes into injury time. Half-time, 1-1. Now, there were wild swings in the sequences of play. England, in their white uniforms, had a lot of dynamic play underlining it, defending out of the freedom of space that they had in front of them. An effort was turned over by Pickford, and an Haaland effort was saved for a corner from a short hop as Pickford sprang down too early. On 54 minutes, Hegem scored, but VAR pulled the ball back. No goal as Haaland pushed Anderson, giving a full push in the chest. Heartbreak for Hegem as his effort was chalked off. There were more emotional swings, and the game was tied 1-1 at the break, sponsored by Lenovo. There were all manner of chaos in a sequence as the ball was scrambled clear by Pickford. A Saka cross was contested in the box, and in injury time Spence charged down the keeper who just cleared. Soon Rodgers shot off the keeper and Bellingham scored 2-1. The keeper spilled it, but Bellingham stayed alive. Every time we looked, there was a new peak. England players dived in both ahead and behind the ball. Haaland was subdued and eventually substituted at the break in extra time. England were holding the ball on recovery, There was a double save as the ball was recycled around in quick succession. In the nervy, sweaty atmosphere, England knew they needed to get to 120 for the game to be over. Attrition and finding a way to survive were the key to victory as England progressed to the semi-final.
Wow. Semi-final. David would have thought that, Billy, that we'd get to a semi-final. It was a magnificent achievement to actually get there, wasn't it?
I think so, and I think when it started off, you didn't think they'd get out of the group because they weren't playing well. I suppose they never consistently played well all through the tournament. You had like massive flashes where something happened and they let loose, and you just thought, well, why can't they play like this all the time?
Yeah.
I
think when we were going forward and pushing forward and moving at pace, we were a threat for anybody. But that's what happened in the semi-final. Of course, England won Argentina 2.
Oh, yeah.
Take the lead. Anthony Gordon, who I thought played superbly well throughout the tournament. He did exceedingly well to get that goal. England ahead. The best thing we should have done was to carry on going forward, run at them, because they were panicking. Our best form of defence at that stage was to attack and score a second goal. But as we all know, he did a Tony Pulis.
Yeah, I couldn't understand anybody that was understand what he did, to be perfectly honest. You just thought, what's going on here? Especially with it, 15 minutes or so?
Yeah, well, longer than that.
Yeah.
So, of all the teams in the world to do that against, you don't do that against Argentina,
No.
do you? A number of people watching that must be screaming at the screens, don't do it.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure whether he panicked or not. I think he probably thought it was going to work. Obviously, he wouldn't have done it because he did that a little bit in some of the earlier games. But it's okay doing that against the likes of Ghana or Panama, but you don't do it against one of the world's best teams like Argentina.
No, and then it gave open door for old Messi to do his business, because up to that point he hadn't done anything.
No, he hadn't.
He was getting frustrated.
No. Yeah, he had very few shots on goal because we limited him to that. But it was 2 assists from him that led to the Argentine goals.
Yeah.
So it was really frustrating in the end. And of course the Argentinians went on, and we all know what happened next.
Yeah, in the final. Yeah.
I was so chuffed that Spain actually did
win
that
without a doubt.
final.
I think everybody did.
I think everybody was, but the antics of the Argentine players at the end of the game.
Well, I said to somebody after the game, the first, I don't know who the geezer was, who smacked our bloke across the back of the neck. That was common assault.
Yeah.
And I said, not that he'd do it. I said, after the World Cup's finished, he should sue him. He should sue him for common assault, because that wasn't even a normal sort of tackle. It was quite obvious that he was going to clout him one across the back of the head. It's just ridiculous, and nothing happened. Sure. And what really annoyed me was, in the clip on the TV, it showed Messi winking at the referee when he didn't book him, as if to say, well, we've got you in our pocket. You can't accuse referees of not doing that, but there was certainly a leaning towards Argentina. And was it political because Mr. Orange Face, wants to get his foot in the door at Argentina? And course, I don't know. There's just so much went on that was not sporting in a way.
And what's happened since, of course, with the Infantino business.
Yeah. Well, again, that's in.
At the time of recording, Infantino's still in his job, but whether he will resign or not remains to be seen. I think he's that thick-skinned. He'll want to try and ride it out.
Possibly. I don't know. I can't see it happening.
It needs somebody to stand up against him. Otherwise, he's just going to be elected unopposed again.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that UEFA would stand for that now.
No. Is it something that's happening politically in the back door? Just, obviously the money was coming from somebody that was linked to somebody else.
Yeah.
So was it his money or was it somebody else's money? And obviously they want all the rules changed, don't they? They want it to become like American football.
Well, that's what would happen, of course, if these Americans started to back it, isn't it?
Yeah, without a doubt.
So the hydration breaks is just the start of it, isn't it?
So what were people making of that? Because it was, if you analysed it, almost every game changed after a hydration break, didn't it?
Yes, quite often, yeah. So if you were on the ropes coming up to the hydration break, we were thinking, well, we're going to have a bit of a rest here. We can do something about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and vice versa. Of course, if you're playing well, it disrupts the rhythm, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah. And the thing, the final was just a farce. How you can ask sportsmen to wait 25, 30 plus minutes,
Yeah.
just so some stuff can go on the pitch. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, I think that spoiled it for proper fans in
Yeah,
a way.
well, again, that was an Americanism coming in, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Which,
without a doubt.
again, is another example of something that should never have happened.
No.
And hopefully will never happen again.
No. I don't know where is it next time?
So
Qatar, innit?
What have we got? Yeah. Hang on, I've got it wrong. Let's think what it is. Is it Morocco, isn't it?
Is it?
Morocco, Spain, I think.
Oh, is it a split
Christmas,
country
I
again?
think, yeah.
Yeah, something
and
like
it's
that.
also going to be the centenary thing as well. So there's a couple of games, I think, in Argentina and Uruguay to celebrate, the very first event in Uruguay in 1930. But England redeemed themselves a little bit with that 6-4 game.
Oh, against France.
Against France.
I mean, that was
in
proper
the third
football.
place playoff. Now, I, for one, and in fact, the majority of people, just thinking, what is the point of that fourth place playoff anyway, or the bronze medal game?
Yeah, the bronze medal.
So didn't see the point of that at all. So you can never ever remember the team that finished third in the World Cup.
No.
It's totally pointless. But we'll certainly remember this one.
I think so.
Because of the result, 6-4. Absolutely fantastic game, wasn't it?
Yeah, beautiful.
I only saw the highlights of that when I got back. So that would have been a game that was worth watching. But then again, there wasn't much at stake on it. So I suppose both sets of players were much more relaxed, couldn't they?
Yeah, and it give him a chance to play some of the players that hadn't, been on the pitch in a way, which was nice from that point of view, and also bonded a few together, and sort of that was what football was all about, really, wasn't it? In a way, it was lovely. I did think it was a World Cup of the stars coming to shine. I mean, normally you get World Cup and you'll get some person you've never heard who becomes a super. But every one of them, Mbappe, Messi, and that, they really brought it to the table, didn't they?
Yeah. I think Kane was a bit disappointing. He was playing far too deep for many of the games and for much of the games as well. But that was under Tuchel's instructions, I dare say. So you couldn't really fault him too much. But of course, Bellingham was the star, wasn't he? Big, good Stourbridge lad, of course.
Yeah.
I
know the Brummies on Facebook have tried to claim him, but he's ours.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's World Cup over, and we're going to turn our attention now to the Football League.
Football League.
The Baggies,
the Baggies
are back,
so
Billy.
next month we'll be back with the Baggies, won't we?
So look forward to that. Bob will be back with us as well for the next edition of the Throstle Club. I hope you've enjoyed this special edition of the programme, and we'll be back on the airwaves soon. This is the Throstle Club with Norman Bartlam and Bob Downing.
Live from the Black Country, online, on your mobile,